Hello, fellow beings of light, and welcome to the 8-8 portal, the Lion's Gate. June and its portal were a quantum pivot point, the halfway point in the year where the phase of receiving and expanding ended and the phase of embodying and stepping into it all began. July and its portal were about realignment. We took all that we had sorted through, what we connected together or released at that pivot point, and began realigning it within our 6 bodies with our unified purpose and timeline, embodying it. And now, here we are in August at the Lion's Gate portal, the point in the year and in the galactic alignments where we initiate stepping into what we have embodied, where we initiate the momentum that will carry us through to next year when we start the next level of those 2 phases all over again. And no, in case you were wondering, those levels never end. There is always more to receive and expand into. There is always more to embody and step into, regardless of whether you are at the beginning or at the end of however you view your path, your journey. Whether it is the mainstream concept of ascension or awakening, that vertical ladder you see yourself climbing, or our concept of healing the 6 degrees of soul separation, the 6 veils of forgetting across the horizontal astral plane, culminating in reconvergence with your oversoul and achieving a constant state of 0 point energy, or something else entirely, because there doesn't have to be a label. Our individual paths and journeys are unique to us and can be whatever we want them to be. Follow whatever intention we set with the universe and with Source. Regardless of the what, however, there will always be more. We are always simultaneously at the beginning and the end, at the end and the beginning, an infinite cycle we are intended to flow with. And while some may view that from if there's no end goal, what's the point then? Why should I even try? Perspective. They're missing out on the bigger picture. To simplify the opposing perspective, if there is an end goal, what do I do after that? What's the point of continuing if there is nothing more waiting for me on the other side? I don't know about you, but that sounds like life would be pretty boring, if you ask me. The fact that there's still more waiting for us when we ascend, reconverge, or whatever, that there is still more to learn, more blessings to receive, and more opportunities, at least for the human race, to literally start all over again, experience all of it all over again, endlessly. Each successive incarnation after ascension, reconvergence, or whatever, getting easier and easier to achieve remembrance, to reach that point in the path and journey, to begin receiving even more of the infinite more that lies beyond it. The prospect of that, to me at least, isn't pointless. It's beautiful. It's something to look forward to. And yeah, that is really easy for me to say from where I am at in my path and journey of having already experienced reconvergence and reached a constant state of 0 point. But that is literally how I can say it, how I can share with you that it's true, and that the work to get there, or lack thereof, as the case is meant to be, is worth it. That is likely hard to see, to grasp for most of you, because you aren't there yet. You are at various stages in your path and journey to remembrance, to ascension, reconvergence, or whatever your perceived goal may be. You are still knee-deep in what you view as the hard stuff, the processing, healing, and so on, which, if you had already reached a state of 0 point energy, even 25% of the time, you would understand that it is only hard because you are operating under the distortion that it must be, that you have to struggle and suffer, wade knee-deep through all of this stuff to get to the other side of it. When in reality, that is a choice you as an individual are making, an intention you as an individual are setting. You are asking for it to be hard. You are setting the condition that it be hard, all based on that distortion. Today, for the 8/8 Lionsgate portal, I hope to begin relieving you of that distortion to aid you in reaching that state of 0 point, whether it's 10, 15, 20, hopefully 25% of the time. Which percent it will be, you're probably guessing it, totally up to you. You will receive whatever you are open to, whatever you ask to receive, whatever you allow yourself the space to receive by letting go of what is out of alignment with it at the same time. I will be doing that by tapping into your energy field and consciousness, wherever you are and whenever you might be listening to this. Calling forward any and all undistorted truths, individually or collectively, that you have already begun receiving and connecting with, embodying and realigning with, within your field and along your path and journey, as fuel, a collective flow and momentum of 0 point energy that will open a doorway to 0 point energy being perceived as attainable, to 0 point energy being perceived as easily accessible to all, to 0 point energy being sought out by you with ease instead of making it hard on yourself. I want you to ask for the receiving of it and the embodying of it to be easy. I want you to set the condition that the receiving of it and the embodying of it will be easy. And simultaneously, I want you to release the concept that it must be hard, based on the undistorted truth that Source and the universe has always intended and always will intend for it to be easy. Not only that, but based on the undistorted truth, the remembrance that you already know that you have already experienced not only that ease, but that state of 0 point. You have just forgotten, been subjected to the 6 veils of forgetting, incarnation after incarnation. and are finding your way back to remembering. Take a moment, a few deep breaths to let that intention set in. And I'm actually going to call in our guides for today, even though I haven't introduced them yet. We will get to that, don't worry. Because I'm feeling like we need a bit of recalibration in this moment, this point, to bring all of you and the collective as a whole into alignment with this intention. Go ahead and proceed. Agadish Aragoya, Agadis Karagre, Agadish Kurush Karakaris Karakuya, Araish Karakoyas Karakia, Araish Arakaras Karakade, Araish Karakoya Kadis Karakadi, Araish Karakoyas Karakas Karakadis Karakuya, Agadish Karakara As Karakadi, Agadish Oish Karakadi Akade. Arish karak oish karakadis karak ayas kadia. Akadish karak is karak ayakade. Akadish karak oy akadis karak ash karakadia. Akadish karak oya kadi. Rish karak ayakadea. Akadea akadish karak roya kadea. Akadish karak ayakadia kadea. Akadish karak Ayakadi, Agadish Ash As Ish Woya, Awoya, Awoya Gadia, Agadish Ayakadea, Agade Aish Iakadi, Akadi Ush, Akadi Ush, Akadi Ush, Akadi Ush, Akadi. They are complete. And before we get into who they are, I'm feeling that we need to delve into where we will be journeying for today's portal activation first. This is already unfolding differently than what I've been receiving over the course of this week. I'm not going to act surprised. I should be used to this by now. I'm actually getting a few connected wares that could just be because of the nature of where the activation will occur. I'm not sure. Bear with me for a moment while I try to figure out if I actually need to get into each ware individually in the discussion and the journey. If you need to know them, yes and no. I'm surprised again. I'm actually being told to go ahead and jump into the journey, that the where and who are intended to naturally flow from it, through it. Okay then, that's what we'll do. For this journey and the activation that will come during it, I will be utilizing an ability known as overlaying. This ability allows me to overlay your energetic body and consciousness with my own, creating a temporary, alternate version of you in which yours and mine are one and the same, which in turn allows you access to not only my 0 point state, but my abilities and my understanding of what we will be experiencing today. you will access my consciousness streaming ability, a form of astral travel in which our energetic bodies actually remain behind while we travel consciously to, I'm getting an Earth and a galactic point. And this will be interesting in that I'm fairly certain this is the first time I am consciously and intentionally utilizing, overlaying to consciousness stream with not only numerous people as one, but people spread out across time based on when they're listening. It's kind of exciting, actually. It's me stepping into my second phase, a big part of what I expanded into during the first. Okay, if you are open to allowing me to do so, open to receiving this journey through overlay and to receiving the activation and light codes that myself and our guides will be sharing with you during it, simply say yes, either out loud or within your mind. Good. Now, as I take a few moments to drop in further and to connect with not only our guides for today, but with your energy field and consciousness wherever you might be and whenever you might be listening, I invite you to sit in a comfortable position, cross-legged if you can, with your hands resting, palms up on your lap or at your side, and begin breathing slowly and deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you do so, allow your eyes to go ahead and close naturally. And let go of any thoughts, emotions, or circumstances that may interfere with your ability to receive. Now, I want you to take 3 slow and deep breaths with me. And with each inhale, I want you to think, focusing on receiving truth. And with each exhale, I want you to think, focusing on releasing distortion. Focusing on receiving truth. Focusing on releasing distortion. Focusing on receiving truth. Focusing on releasing distortion. Focusing on receiving truth. Focusing on releasing distortion. Alongside our guides, and I'm getting some additional friends, aides that aren't quite clear yet, but will be joining us later. I open a sacred space for 5 of our 6 bodies: physical, emotional, mental, energetic, and spiritual, for them to remain anchored as we embark on our journey through consciousness, through our 6th body, our causal body. This space is our temple of the 3rd breath, a temple that exists in a pure 0-point state, both protected from and free of distortion. A temple that can be everywhere and nowhere at once, hence its ability to hold us all in one place for this journey, despite the distance as well as time separating us. The temple will appear to you much like the void often does, dark, for you do not need to see it at this time. You need only know that it is surrounding you in protection, serving to not only keep your bodies safe as we journey together, but serving as a filter through which all distortions existing or entering all 6 of your bodies during our journey together will be cleansed, leaving only truth behind. I once again remind you to place your palms facing up, on your lap or beside you, for it is through your hands that I will pull your causal body, your consciousness, up from your physical and other 5 bodies. Now, your hands may tingle, feel cold or warm as I hold them and facilitate the travel of our consciousness, both on Earth and galactically. That is perfectly normal, as is feeling nothing at all. As I begin to do so, I ask your spiritual, energetic, mental, emotional, and physical bodies to remain behind, feeling themselves sending down roots from the floor of our temple, deep into Gaia, wherever you may be on it, keeping all of those parts of you safe and grounded as we embark on this journey. This may take a few moments, as there are many of you, and I usually do this one at a time. Okay, I believe we're ready. I want you to sense your causal body, your consciousness, your awareness begin to rise upwards, beyond your physical body, beyond the room or space that you are physically in. You will feel the sensation of floating. But don't worry, you won't float away, as your consciousness is tethered to mine. My guides are actually showing me all of your causal bodies like balloons, and me holding them all tied around me and moving across the globe as we travel along Earth first. It's almost like the movie Up, and I'm literally the house. If it helps you to visualize it that way, go right ahead. If nothing else, it will be entertaining. And as you're floating, I want you to sense the landscape passing by. You may see and feel different environments. Water in the form of the ocean, rivers, streams. Land in the form of dry deserts, lush forests, small or big cities. Just floating gently over them. And arriving at Mount Shasta in California. am I not surprised by that? And not only Mount Shasta, but at the doorway of another temple, the temple of the Order of the Sacred White Flame. Its appearance and energy, a bright white and a pale blue. This temple and the order it represents are much like my own temple. Pure 0 point energy. It and they exist within and beyond form, and have existed since before the separation, since before the divide between masculine thought and feminine emotion, since before the creation of the galactic races. As the doorway opens for us and we float inside, take in your surroundings. Again, bright white and pale blues. The appearance of almost a library. White shelf after white shelf, full of books of various shades of pale blue. Books that contain the original records of creation. Records that existed long before separation, long before distortion. And at the center, a large, pure white flame. The sacred white flame, rising from a well of infinite, I don't even know how to describe what it is. I am receiving that it may be different for some or all of you, and that is why I can't identify the origin of it. I'm being asked to have you define your own source, your own origin point for it. So I ask you to do so. Focus on that flame at the center of the records surrounding us. Don't just see it, but allow yourself to see through it, to see beyond it, to where it emanates from for you. That might be source. It might be the cosmos as a whole. It might be the void. It might be Gaia. It might be your heart space. It might very well be you, if you have reached that point in your path and journey. I'm receiving that some of you have. Good for you guys. Know that what you see, where the flame emanates from for you, is a call for you to connect deeper with it, to ground yourself in it as you continue moving forward in your path and journey. This is where you are at in the present. Make a note of it within your consciousness. Then begin returning your focus to this space, to the temple, and find our guides for today's journey surrounding us in a circle. White lions, White Seraphim Lions, the guardians of the Order of the Sacred White Flame, guardians of its temples, guardians of its records, guardians of what lies beyond them that was once accessible to all, that is now accessible to few. You may see them simply as bright white orbs of light in their true form. You may see them in the form of our Earth Lions, recognizable and accessible to you. You may see them in the form they take for me and many others. Lion beings, standing tall on 2 feet. Priests and priestesses in pale blue robes, fluffy and white. The looks they give me when I call them fluffy. It's true though, they are. Their form, like the labels used for them, do not matter. Like you, like all of us, and all those above and below, it is only our energy, our light, that truly matters. You will also find that they're quite silent beings. And I mean that in the sense that they don't communicate with their voices often. They don't even necessarily communicate telepathically. It is more through their eyes. So, before we continue, I would like you to approach one, to look into the eyes of one, and ask for a gift with your consciousness. A gift that will aid you in the remainder of the journey. A gift that will purify you and prepare you for. That gift might be a thought, a feeling, a color, an actual object. Or it might be the sharing of its light and energy with you. Regardless of what form it takes, this is a gift of remembrance, of a point in the past when you were pure and innocent. Again, make a note of it within your consciousness. Then return your focus to this space, to the temple, because I'm receiving that we are not meant to remain here within the 4 walls of this temple. That there is a circle on this floor that we and our lion guides are within. A platform, an elevator of sorts. Feel the platform begin to lower down, deep into Gaia, below Mount Shasta, leading to a point just above Telos, a point floating above it, much like your consciousness is above mine. This point is known as the Temple of Innocence. It is what we on Earth would consider a container. A container that holds the frequency of innocence. A frequency that was and continues to be removed from the awareness of any and all that are not in alignment with it, for so long as they continue to not be in alignment with it. Not to withhold it from us, above and below, but rather to protect it from us as we begin to lose it within ourselves, from the separation and distortion we allow into our fields, that we allow ourselves to begin thinking and feeling with, speaking and acting with, creating with. They do so to ensure that it is infinitely kept in its pure and undistorted state for when we are ready to return to it. When we return to our pure 0 point state, where we can once again hold it without risk of losing it or distorting it. Now, those that saw the sacred white flame at the center as emanating from themselves, you have access to this container and what lies beyond it anytime you wish, for you have returned to a frequency of innocence, a level of pure 0 point energy that allows for it to be returned to you. The rest of you, you're not there yet. You are only being granted access to this container and what lies beyond it through my consciousness, through my frequency of innocence that has never been lost, that has never been forgotten. Because my 1/6 fragment of my monad's consciousness is the 9D fragment, a fragment that is pure and innocent, full of unbreakable hope by its very nature, a fragment that is quite literally the frequency of innocence itself, radiating outwards, a fragment contained in many currently incarnated on Earth now, or soon to be. This is the reason for the overlay, for your consciousness being tethered to mine, combined with mine, to allow this access. And as we descend into this container, you will initially see it is pure white light, the opposite of the pure darkness of the void. But much like the void, all is not what it seems. Feel our platform come to a rest and begin to focus on the bright white light surrounding us. Again, don't just see it, but allow yourself to see through it, to see beyond it. See the light begin to expand, to stretch before your eyes into a rainbow of colors, into the rainbow ray, a culmination of all the rays that is forming a wall around our circle, our platform, the walls of the temple of innocence. And being called to have you approach the wall, to walk along it with your hand out, stopping at a color that is calling to you, that you can feel vibrating through your being. Know that the color you have stopped at is the frequency, the ray that you are prepared to step into, that you are being called to connect deeper with, to ground yourself in as you continue moving forward in your path and journey. This is the frequency, the ray you are shifting into in the immediate future. Once again, make a note of it within your consciousness. Then return your attention to the center of the platform, to where you will now find a blue ring of light extending from the platform base upwards. This ring of blue light is our old friend, the Syrian blue ray from our 7/7 portal activation. But you'll find it serves a different purpose here. It is a facilitator for the secondary purpose of the Temple of Innocence, a portal in and of itself to our next and final destination. Go ahead and step within it, closer to the center of the platform and the sacred white flame. You will notice that our white lion guides are not physically joining us within the Syrian blue ray. They will remain here within the Temple of Innocence, holding space for our journey. And we will instead be joined by those additional friends, the aides I mentioned at the start. That's what I'm getting. Okay. Feel yourself beginning to rise up through the Syrian blue ray, up through the Temple of Innocence, up through the Temple of the Order, up through Mount Shasta, and up into the cosmos. See the stars, the constellations, the planets, and more surrounding you beyond the ray. As we travel further and further up, arriving at a destination much like our Temple of the Third Breath and the Temple of the Order and the Temple of Innocence that we have already visited. A place of pure 0 point energy, a place within and beyond form, within and outside of time, that is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. This is Sirius C, and while we will not be exploring it, I'm being told it's okay to allow you to look around, to see the purity and innocence of its creation. Every path and waterway, every plant and tree, every object and creature, many of which will be very unfamiliar to you, unique, often hybrid, and every unicorn, because there are many of them here. And now I'm clearly getting why I was called to create and share next week's episode on what Sirius C is and who its unicorns are last month. Because I am not being called to delve into those topics here and now. But if you come hang out with me for the episode next week, we will do so, and we will probably make another journey here to make up for the delay so that you get the full experience of both, because it is definitely an experience. These unicorns, they are the additional friends, the aides I mentioned. For now, we will see them merely as the guardians of Sirius C. Like our white lion friends, they will appear different for different people. You may see them in their true form as crystalline unicorns, prisms reflecting the rainbow ray and the frequency of innocence. You may see them as the form of how unicorns are depicted in myths and books on Earth. You may also see them, or rather one, in a form that is unique to you. In fact, all of you should see at least one in this way. And those that do not will see one shift into this way now. Unique to you in the color that they are. Quite possibly the color of the ray you saw earlier. In whether they have wings or not. In what their horn looks like and is made out of. Once again, their form does not matter. It is only their energy, their light, that truly matters. Witness the one that is uniquely yours approaching you. This will be your guide for the next part of our journey. Your unique frequency of purity and innocence that will allow you to access it. Place your hand on their side and allow them to lead you forward to what likely appears to you like a solid rock wall, maybe even a large tree. I'm seeing a few of you saying it as that. I ask you to trust that whatever it is not as it seems. Sense and feel yourself approach it and pass right through it to what lies on the other side. The inner vault of the Order of the Sacred White Flame. Accessible to very few. To the White Lion Guardians, what you know as Ascended Masters. Ninth fragments, like myself. Unicorns. I'm being scolded, but I can't tell you why. As you take in this vault, you will find that it looks very much like the first temple we visited. Bright white light and shelves and display cases as well. Books and objects in tones of pale blue scattered among them. More white lion guardians and a white flame at its center. Only there's no well this time. The flame simply is. It is floating above the floor. Despite the similarity in appearance, this vault, the records and objects contained within it, are not the same as those found in the Order of the Sacred White Flame's various temples. This vault contains the pure and undistorted original architecture of Source's will, Source's intent, before it created beyond itself. This vault contains the original blueprint of creation for the Divine Masculine and the divine feminine, and all creation that has flowed from them. Not as it is, but as it was in its pure and undistorted state before the separation and divide between the two. This vault contains the codes of the sacred white flame, codes that allow it to be reseated anywhere that it has been lost, codes that are in reality not a flame and not a ray, but a pulse, a breath. This vault contains the original blueprints, codes, and undistorted reflection of each and every being above and below. Full remembrance of all that those above and below are. What we were before separation, before distortion, before the veils of forgetting, and what we will return to. And this vault contains laws that existed before the law of one, before the law of sovereignty, before the laws created by the many galactic races, including the human race. Laws that become imprinted on any and all beings who reach a pure 0 point energy state that reclaim the frequency of innocence within them. They are the laws pertaining to both. Sadly, we are not here to look at any of those things today. None here beyond myself are ready to do so. But we are here for another purpose, for an experience. We are a long way from where we started. So I will remind you of what that experience is. To call forward any and all undistorted truths, individually or collectively, that you have already begun receiving and connecting with, embodying and realigning with, within your field and along your path and journey as fuel. And using that fuel to initiate collectively, not individually, a flow and momentum of 0 point energy that will carry us through to next year, when we will start the next level of the 2 phases again. A collective flow and momentum of 0 point energy that will open a doorway to 0 point energy being perceived as attainable, to 0 point energy being perceived as easily accessible to all, to 0 point energy being sought out by you with ease instead of making it hard on yourself. Are you ready? I am. Let's do this. Together, as one, we are going to step forward into the sacred white flame at the center of this space. And as we do so, we will find ourselves surrounded by it. The rest of the vault fading from sight as it expands around us. We float within the sacred white flame. I call forward the separated frequency of distortion and truth, sovereignty and unity, duality and polarity, thought and emotion, fear, and love, all the same. Each of these pairs ultimately meaning the same thing, emanating from the same origin, the same single frequency that was once balanced at source, now separated and overlapping at source, but no longer connected to each other. And as I do so, you will begin to see a black X forming beneath us. Each line representing that frequency, once a single axis, now two separated axes. I ask you to call forward the three things you received during our journey thus far. The emanation point of the sacred white flame you saw within the Order's temple. Remember that this is where you are at in the present, and place it below you where the two axes cross each other. The gift that you received from our white lion guides. Remember that it was a gift of remembrance of a point in the past when you were pure and innocent, and place it behind you at the center point between the two separated axes. The ray, the color you were drawn to in the Temple of Innocence. Remember that this is the frequency, the ray that you are shifting into in the immediate future, and place it in front of you at the center point between the two separated axes. Now watch as these 3 points in time, your past, present, and future, connect into a line, a third axis, representing time itself, the astral plane. Finally, I would like you to join me. Repeat after me. I call forward any and all undistorted truths that I have received. I call forward any and all distortions that I have released to make space for them. I call forward any and all realignment that has occurred as a result. Now, I want you to watch what happens. And not just that, I want you to physically move your body from your seated position in alignment with what follows. It will feel a bit odd in slow motion, but trust that there is a point to you being asked to do so. See a golden line traveling from where you are at in the present, halfway up the axis in front of you to your right, representing distortion within your field. See that golden line departing that axis and curving upwards to the future point you placed along your timeline, along the astral plane, representing your future self at a point in time that recognizes that distortion for what it is, a distortion. See that golden line departing that future point and curving downwards to halfway down the axis in front of you to the left, traveling down that axis back to you in the present, representing you releasing that distortion in the present. See that golden line continue on, traveling from where you're at in the present, halfway down the same axis behind you to your right, representing you collecting all wounds, imprints, and blocks associated with that distortion in the past. See that golden line departing that axis and curving downwards to the past point you placed along your timeline, along the astral plane, representing the origin point of that distortion. The release your future self initiated of it, healing it. See that golden line departing that past point and curving upwards to halfway up the axis behind you to your right, traveling up that axis back to you in the present, representing that healing of the past reaching you in the present, freeing you of the distortion and its past in your field. Now, I want you to begin the physical movements of the path we just followed, continuing forward on that same axis back to the one to the right in front of you. Only I want you to do it faster and faster each time, continuous, without stopping. Let's go with 6 times. Do you know what we created? Do you know what shape your movement is creating? Sacred geometry, an infinity symbol. Infinite flow, a bridging of the separated frequency. The separated axes of distortion and truth. Across the astral plane, across the past, present, and future, uniting what was separated as one again, while allowing them to remain sovereign of each other in an infinite flow of receiving, releasing, healing, realignment with truth. Momentum. Building our ability to follow this infinite flow faster and faster. Increasing our 0 point energy until we reach the point where all of the steps we just walked through happen in an instant. A state where every single thought, emotion, experience, or memory that you have is everything and nothing at the same time. Because you can process it, receive and release what you are meant to from it, heal what you need to from it in an instant, realign in an instant with ease. Easy, not hard, healing and freedom, not struggling and suffering. When it comes to everything, every truth that needs to be received, every distortion that needs to be released, every wound, imprint, and block that needs to be healed on both an individual and collective level. I now call in our guides, the White Lions, the guardians of the Order of the Sacred White Flame, its records, its access to the Temple of Innocence and its inner vault. I ask them to activate the work that we have done today, to activate the initiation of the infinity symbol, of infinite flow, of the momentum we created today collectively, so that all, not just those listening, may receive it. Agadish Karagaway Agadis Karagaria Arish Karagaway Agadi Arish Karakoyas Karakas Karagadish Karagaway Agadi Agadish Karagaish Karagaosh Karagadi Arish Karagarish Karagaroya Aruya Kadea Karuya Kadea Agadish Karagaroya Agadi Arish Karagadish Ash Karakari Woya Kate, Agarish Karakar Oya Katia, Agarish Karakar Oya Kade, Arish Arare, Arish Karakoya Kade, Arish Karakaroya Katia, Arish Karak Aya, Aroya, Aroya Dea. Arish Arareya, Arish Kuruoya Kadeya, Arish Karakois Kirkiti, Askirkiti, Askirkiti, Arish Karaku Askarade, Aras Kirkitiya Kade, Arish Kuruoya Kadeya, Arish Karara, Arish Karagada, Agadish Karagada. Areish Devosh Dedi Areish Karakaresh Karakoish Karkati Areish Karakaoish Karkati Yakadi Arish Karakoish Karakateya Arish Karakoi Yakadeya Arish Karakoi Yakadeya Areish Dedi Arish Karakoi Yakadis Arish Ararish Karakoish Kati Arish Karakoish Karakish Karakoish Kati Aragiri ishkarapoya kadia. Aragiri akarapoish karakate. Aragi ishkarapoish karakadia. Araish karapoish karakadas karakati. Araish karapoish karakadia kate. Araish karakoya kate. Araish karakarash karapoish karakati. Araish karapoish karakadash karakati. Arakush karakadish karakoish karakati. Araish kara. Araish karakoish karakati. Araish karakash karakati. Karakoya kate. Araish karakadas karakadish karakati. Araish karakoya kate. Araish karakoya kate. Are. They are complete. We have initiated that infinity symbol collectively today along the separated frequency of truth and distortion. We have initiated and activated that infinite flow collectively today, created that bridge that reunites them as one while allowing them to remain sovereign. We have initiated and activated a momentum along it that will grow and expand with practice, that will allow a pure state of 0 point energy to be seen as easily attainable, to be more accessible to all of you in your individual paths and journeys. We did that. Give yourself a hug on behalf of yourself and the collective as you take 3 slow and deep breaths with me. Once again, with each inhale, think, focusing on receiving truth. And with each exhale, think, focusing on releasing distortion. Focusing on receiving truth. Focusing on releasing distortion. Focusing on receiving truth. Focusing on releasing distortion. Focusing on receiving truth. Focusing on releasing distortion. And as you release that last exhale, I want you to witness the golden infinity symbol and all of the axes below you begin to fade away. Witness the bright white light giving way to black, to darkness, as we return to the temple of the third breath, as we return your consciousness, your causal body, back to your other 5 bodies, back to your physical body. And back to your current surroundings, the room or the space that you are in. I will be silent for a few moments to allow you to fully do so and to process all that you received from our journey today, or rather begin to, because it was a lot to ask. thank you for joining me for today's journey and activation. I am infinitely grateful for the aid that you have given me in initiating all that we created today collectively. While I am very much capable of doing so alone, I choose not to, because the work that we have done here, the work that is still left to do, is not mine alone. It is ours. It is shared. I feel like there's a lot to say after everything that we've done, everything that we journeyed through, but not really. I'm actually feeling like it's more me sensing that there's a lot for all of you to unpack as you reflect upon and move forward from this journey and activation. So, no more discussion. All I will say is that the journey that we took today on a collective scale is taken from our reconciliation offering, because that's what it was, a reconciliation. And that offering, it works to bridge together separated axes within you individually, masculine and feminine, your galactic and human halves, and beyond. It's one of the recent additions to our offerings, and a part of the reason for the journey and activation we did today. Part of why I was called to that. Because while I initially felt like all of our offerings were supposed to begin on an individual scale, then become collective, I am now receiving that they need to be initiated collectively at first, not completed, initiated. That doorways need to be opened collectively to allow many, if not all, of these offerings to be perceived as attainable on an individual scale, to be more accessible on an individual scale. Specifically, this one, this doorway that we have opened today, because the finish line of our combined 6 degrees of soul separation offerings and our 9-month mentorship that combines them is reaching that pure, infinite 0 point state, returning to that purity and innocence that we delved into today. If that resonates for you, if today's journey opened up something for you individually that you want to pursue further, stop by our website, view our offerings, view our mentorship. I'll link the pages for both in the description. Or if nothing else, subscribe to our channel here, because our podcast episodes, our activations, and some other things that will likely be coming up in the near future, they are all free. And we are going to continue to build on what we worked on today and much more beyond it through those episodes and activations. Arishkati.